Hello family, welcome back to the Future Talk Show. My name is Kelvin, and as always we give you information that will help you define, shape and establish a sustainable future. Today we are going to be discussing a topic about youths and politics, and basically we are just going to look at youth's role in pre and post election. Our guest today is a communication and project specialist, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in a short while. Well, before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share, comment, give us any insight that you have, and if you have any questions that you want to put across, please feel more free. We will be obliged to give you a feedback. Without further ado, let's all welcome our guest for today. Kindly just introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Vincent. I'm a communication and project management specialist. I've worked in NGOs all my life, like close to 15 years, and interacted with the youth, interacted with all communities in Kenya. And I'm excited to be here this morning to talk about issues of the youth, politics, economics, and everything else we want to talk about in this future show.
Thank you, Vincent. I know you have a lot that you've done.
Yes.
And I know that you are having political ambitions. Right?
Yes.
So what are they, please?
Okay. So let me begin by saying this. At some point in 2020, my dad sent me some money and said, Vincent, it's been a while since I sent you money. I want you to go and register as a life member of ANC. And I was like, Dad, I have not even talked about any political ambition. What is it you see in me? Says, there's always been something about you and politics. You comment on politics. There's politicians who follow you. You're always in the company of politics, and I think there's a lot you can offer than the current crop of politicians. I was like, yeah, let me think about it. So yes, 2022 was too close for me to put my resources together and run for office, but I want to do something in 2027, and there goes my political ambition. I have serious political ambition. If you're in Vihiga, I am coming.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know there's a drive.
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you want to be in politics?
Okay. So I keep telling guys this, that if you do not participate in politics, then you are ruled by your inferiors. We have seen people with fake degrees, fake certificates. We have seen people who should be in prison being leaders, governors, MPs, and other things. And yet we know we have so much you can offer this country from a point of sincerity, from a point of connection with the people, and yet we leave it to criminals and guys with fake certificates and all that. So for me, the drive is I can actually give more change than these guys, because these guys, it's about themselves, it's about their ego, it's about protecting their ill-gotten wealth. For me, it's about service. I went to a school that says strong to serve. That was our motto, and for me, it's about service to the people. So yes, one of these days I might be called Mutumishi Vincent.
Mutumishi Vincent.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So there's a big issue when it comes to how youths are participating in politics, especially during the election year periods.
Yes.
In pre and post.
Yes.
And what I want us to look at today is what are some of the roles of the youths in politics in pre and post.
Okay.
And some of the things that they have done instead.
Now that you mention it, I've thought about this widely, and I'm thinking the youth, a lot of times they're misused by politicians. Think about the percentage of women who have registered to be voters, percentage of guys over the age of 40 who've registered to be voters, and then think about guys in the youth, like 10 to 30 years old, who've registered to be youth. to be voters, you will find that the youth, very few of them are actually voters. Yet when you go to any political rally, you'll find these guys, they're on borders, they're given 1,000 shillings, 500 shillings, and they'll come making a lot of noise, and you'll think they're actually, the guys will be voters. And these are called crowds for hire. Now, you do not hire old women and old men for your political campaign. Those guys will vote based on principle. You understand? But the youth, once you give them a few shillings, they will vote whichever direction you say. Now, the problem with that is the same guys who are giving you money will come and steal that money from you. Because if you do an analysis of how much an MP or how much an MCA will get within the period of 5 years when they're in office, you'll actually be surprised that they will not even get to 20 million. Yet someone will use 100 million, 200 million to get into office. People are actually sponsoring a politician to the tune of 1 billion shillings, 500 million to get into office. They must be paid back. How will they pay back that money? That money will come from your coffers. It will come from your taxes. It will come from my taxes. And that's why the cost of living is so expensive, because we are highly taxed. The money has to come from somewhere. This is the reason why you go to some areas, in 5 years, a governor has not laid an inch of tarmac. Yet you go to some other county, even with 50 million, someone can actually put up a hospital. Check the likes of Makueni. Give the good professor 50 million. He'll actually put up a hospital or a school. You remember the late Ken Okoth in Kibera? He could actually put up a whole school with less than 50 million. Yet in our counties, that is loose change for someone. He's been given a road.
And in regards
they don't deliver.
In regards to what you've just mentioned,
yes.
In regards to the youth, do you think this is a question of integrity or unemployment is the bigger issue here?
So one, I'll say this, it's an issue of values. We have lost our sense of morality. I don't know how many people still go to Sunday school and those things we used to do when we were young, but we've lost our sense of morality in this sense. The guys we look up to are sometimes criminal. Let me give you an example. There's this guy who escaped from Shimolatewa, became a governor in Kenya. And then I went home one of those days and my son says to me, "Dad, why aren't you as rich as this guy?" And I'm like, listen, lazy people become thieves. I am not a thief. I work for every cent I have. I have never stolen a single shilling from anyone. And that is a sense of value we are saying we have lost as Kenyans, where we look up to criminals as the role models. So that's one. But then on another level, we also must understand that we are in sort of what we call like economic doldrum. Like in terms of the economic cycles, we are in the depression. So unemployment is at an all-time high. Look at issues of depression, look at issues of drug use. Part of them are driven by the economic situation. These are youth who are desperate. And instead of giving them jobs, they're youth who are thinking they could actually bet their way into riches. Let me tell you, less than 1% will ever get into richness or riches through betting. But that's where all the youth are. If you go into any bar on a Saturday or on a Sunday, you'll find a lot of youth watching Premier League. They're almost like specialists in the Premier League. They can tell you who the first 11 in Man U or Barcelona or some other team are. But you ask them about Gor Mahia and FC Leopard, they can hardly tell you who the first 11 are.
Do you think
because of the betting culture? Yeah?
Do you think it's their fault?
No, it's not their fault. Partially, it's the situation where we are. The world is changing so fast. There was a time when all we knew was coming from our parents. Like your parents would instill the sense of morality in you. And then westernization took over. We bought children as young as 6-year-old. We're giving them phones. They're going onto the internet. There is TV showing funny programs. There is all these other friends who are exposed. And now we have lost that sense of, shall we call it, unity or family values. Some people will call it Ubuntu. Yeah, we've lost that togetherness, and kids have to find, like nature does not like a vacuum. So kids have to find somewhere to get values. And then we now have all these role models. Some role models, they bleach their skin. There are these ones who've gone to Dubai and playing around with criminals and strange Nigerians, and those are the role models. I mean, you will hear kids say, when I grow up, I want to be a socialite. And they're like, do you know what a socialite is? It's just the definition of a socialite. It's just another way of saying someone who sells their person for gain. And I'm not saying physically, but at the end of the day, they're selling this image and this thing they have on offer for a bit of money. So for me, there's no difference between that and the girl on the street at night. Yes.
Let's take a short commercial break, and then we will be back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Remember to subscribe. Don't forget to share, comment, and give us any insight that you have. Well, this show is brought to you by Arcteryx Media. Arcteryx Media are a freelance media. They do videography, they do professional photography, and they also do audio recording. If you have any you want to reach down on them, we will put their contacts right below. They'll be running on the screen. We also want to shout out the Divine Homes Resort for hosting us today. They are located along Kisumu Busia Road. If you know past Otongulo slightly, there is a petrol station called Haas, right opposite. You'll get to Divine Homes. They give you accommodation facilities, they give you meals, they have conferencing spaces, and all the good services that you want. You may want to contact Divine Homes Resort. Thank you very much. See you in a short break. There have been a lot of issues surrounding the youth.
Yes.
And I just wanted us to touch on it a little bit. Right now, there's a lot of political campaigns going around.
Yes.
The leaders are promising a lot of different things.
Yes.
And the youths are some way being siphoned into these sweet statements.
Yes.
So where do you think this is leading the youths in terms of how they are making their decisions on who to elect, in terms of their general know-how in politics? Because as far as we are talking, what we are coming out with is that the youths are after money.
Yes.
Most of it,
Yes.
So is it that they don't know their purpose, or can you help us understand that? So
let me start, and I will talk about the 3 top presidential candidates. There is a presidential candidate that is telling the youth that if you sell cannabis sativa, or is it indica, whatever species of bangi we are going to sell, that a whole bag would get you several millions.
And these are the things that are very attractive.
And these are the things that are attractive to the youth. You're looking at get rich quick. So you're not looking at investing your time into a skill or anything. You're thinking, if I have 1 bag of bangi, I'm going to be a millionaire. And there's a lot of untruth in that. There's someone who did the fact checking, and they actually found out that what this guy is claiming is not the truth. We have laws in Kenya that protect wildlife. We have seen the problem we've had with elephants, with rhinos. And now he's telling guys that if you slaughter all these hyenas we have and cut off their testicles and sell to the Chinese, we'll have billions. Let me tell you, every animal, whether it's a vulture, a hyena, or even an ant, they actually have a role on this earth. When, for instance, in the Masai Mara, there's this wildebeest that come to Kenya for like a few months, then they go back to TZ. Okay, there's hundreds of them, thousands of them that die. And part of the cleanup process, the hyena is part of that. the vultures are part of that. So if you kill all the hyenas, what happens to the cleanup? The Mara will be a stinking cesspool of bacteria, and there'll be sicknesses like COVID and other things that the rotting meat will bring. So hyenas have a role to play in the environment. So you can't say we'll slaughter the hyenas, sell off their testicles, and will guys be domesticating them? Do we begin domesticating hyenas? Let me give you another example. Someone says we need 1.4 billion cobras. We will milk their venom and sell it to the world market. Let me tell you, in Kenya, we have between 22 million and 25 million heads of cattle right now. Like maximum, after the drought, we have a maximum of 25 million heads of cattle. So think about billions of cobras. Where are we keeping them?
Exactly.
How are we even farming them? Where are we getting the seed to farm these things? Yeah. And you know, my mom has this thing, says, Mimi si mchawi. I will not be party to someone who's keeping a snake. I will not agree to keeping hyenas or farming baggy. And those are the voters. So this guy who's running around in clubs, he's lying to the youth, because the Kenyan youth do not like to look for information. Yeah. Some other guy came and lied to us about laptops.
Exactly.
He did not deliver a single laptop. Now he's telling everyone about free internet. Yeah. Is he going to deliver on that? His VP, on the other hand, is telling people that this big organization that is actually providing most of the internet in the country, he will break it down into small village kind of companies so that locals can manage. How are you going to manage a big company like Safaricom if you do not have the knowledge to even do horticultural farming? You understand?
Yes, I get it.
Someone whose son is graduating in the UK is busy selling us a wheelbarrow. Tell me, will you ever become a millionaire using a wheelbarrow? And we are talking about a society that wants to get rich quick. Yeah. And there's nothing with wanting to get rich quick. But please understand, there must be
an effort.
Some effort. And then comes the other guy, who's probably the better of the three, in my opinion. But listen, Kenya is heavily indebted. Yeah. Okay, we're in debt up to here. We're just like below the nose. Yeah, exactly. In fact, any more debt will drown.
It's about
you understand? Yeah.
Something.
So when you start dishing out 6,000 shillings every month, where's this money coming from? We should be talking about an economy that has less taxation, more money in pockets, more ways of getting money from other sectors of the economy, not giving free money, because you create a dependency syndrome. Exactly. So let me give you an example. There's a guy called Babayao.
Babayao, I know.
When he looked around Kiambu, there's all these youth who are drinking themselves silly. Yeah. By 9, 10 in the morning, yeah, exactly. They were drunk. So he decided, kazi kwa vijana, he'll be giving them 500 shillings a day. Yeah. 250 goes into the bank, and they're given 250 shillings.
Into their own bank?
Yeah, no, so your bank account, like you have a bank account, the 250 goes to your bank account, and they give you 250 per day. Do you know what they would do with the 250? They would drink some more. Some more, exactly. So it's not as easy as dishing out money. It's a whole thing about a revolution where it begins with the mind. We have to look to examples like Rwanda and other economies in the world that have made it, Japan, Korea, and other economies that once we were the same space, but now they're way up here, like the Asian tigers, and find a way of getting there, because the kind of mentality we have, the kind of leaders we have, will not get us there. That's why I'm running for office.
Yeah. So is it the youth do not know what they really want, or is it that these political leaders have mastered an art to, an art of how they package the information to bribe the mindset of the youth, so that they end up making decisions that they are not well informed about, and then then in a few years, in a few days, we have a crisis. So is it do we blame the political leaders, or do we blame the youths in terms of how they are making decisions, or in terms of how they're digging deep into information? Are they ignorant?
Let me tell you one thing. You've heard about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this pyramid, right?
Pyramid, yeah.
Someone cannot come and start telling you about self-actualization on a hungry stomach.
Exactly.
You understand? Yeah. So the physiological needs, the clothes on your back, a nice house, food in the stomach, those are the basic needs. And our politicians know that this youth is on an empty stomach. For 1,000 shillings, I'm able to buy his vote. You understand? So it's not about the youth, it's really about the politician, that they have mastered the needs of the youth and they know how to get to them. Because at this point in time, we are still operating on Maslow's, the bottom of the hierarchy, that you do not even have a job. So your biggest problem is the stomach. What do I do? With 1,000 shillings, I can get your vote. Now, after that, this guy would probably need a house, security needs. After that, they would probably go to school and probably want now to run for politics, which those are higher level needs, you know, self-actualization up there. But if you can't provide for physiological needs, for security needs at the bottom of the pyramid, how are you going to provide for higher level needs, like stop corruption? Stop corruption what? I just need food for the next 1 week. Do you know how much unga is?
200 and something.
I am Luya. It's almost 220 shillings. And it's so painful, man.
Amazing. Wow. This is very rich information that will help us as a generation of the youth to be able to make some informed decisions in regards to how we participate in politics. Well, this is just part one of this discussion. We are coming up with part two, so stay tuned, and we hope that you, as you listen, you get informed, you learn, and as you learn, remember to teach others as well.